Hello and welcome to another episode of Stress Less for teachers and anyone else who enjoys these episodes. I would like to talk to you today about the feeling of not being enough. Oftentimes we think that we are not performing well enough in our job, or that we just can't get things done. And I would like to invite you to think about what you have already achieved in life. I will start by telling you a little story about myself. So when I first went to university back in Germany, I started studying British studies and American studies, as well as sociology. And I was really new to this whole studying thing. At school, I'd never actually picked up on how to study and how to learn things. And all of a sudden I was expected to learn the history of Britain, and I had no idea how to accomplish this, and I just thought I was set up to fail, because in my mind there was no way I would manage to get through this exam. And after the exam, I just felt that I had failed it. There was no way that I hadn't failed this exam. And I decided to see the psychological service of the university. At the time, they offered 10 sessions with a psychologist, counseling, and I had a really kind and nice psychologist. And although she was really kind and understanding, she started by saying, well, why haven't you learned? Why haven't you revised for this? And I told her, well, I have, but I just don't think it was enough. And so the results came in, and I'd passed. Surprise. Well, definitely to my surprise, because I really was absolutely convinced that there was no way that I could have succeeded in this exam. And it wasn't, it wasn't an A, it was a B or something like that. But it was absolutely sufficient, absolutely enough to advance in my course. Now, have you, while you listened to my story, thought about something along those lines that has happened to you? Did it remind you of your own story? Now, I'd like you today, after you've watched the video, to take a sheet of paper. Maybe you're even writing a diary or a journal, and I would like you to list 5 to 10 things that you thought you could never overcome in your life, and that you have, in fact, overcome. And this will be what you should keep in mind for today, that no matter how big the hurdle seems to be, sometimes chances are very big that you can actually overcome them. And maybe you need a little reminder sometimes of the fact that you are enough and you can succeed, and therefore you need to write these things down, and whenever you doubt yourself, go back, read through them, and remind yourself of those successes. It's very easy for us in our hectic times and our hectic lives to just always keep going. I'm definitely one of those who always keep going, and I tend to not look back at my successes. I just run the engine relentlessly, and this is making me very prone to burning out. And I'm speaking from experience, my own experience here. I don't want you to fall into the same trap. You need to make sure to take care of yourself and not let these bad thoughts slip into your mind. Tell yourself that you are enough. It's very important. I had to do the same thing. I still have to do the same thing once in a while. Sometimes there's a bad experience that has an impact on us, and it is very beneficial if you keep these little successes in mind, and remind yourself as well that you wouldn't have your students think that way about themselves. You don't want them to feel inferior or that they're not capable of achieving something. Growth mindset, I'm sure you've heard of it in teaching. So apply this growth mindset to yourself as well. It doesn't always have to be a massive success. Sometimes it's just getting through the day without beating yourself up over not having accomplished something you thought you had to or you needed to. You know, the beauty of things sometimes is that they become less important if you leave them for a while. You might find out that a thing that you considered important wasn't that important at all, and it resolves itself after just a while of ignoring it. Don't make it a habit. Have your ugly frog list where you put the ugliest frog at the top that you need to tackle straight away. But don't push yourself too far, because you need to make sure that you can stay healthy while you're doing a good job. So look after yourself. Tell yourself that you are doing as much as you can at this given moment. You're doing the best you can, and you're trying your hardest. And if that still isn't enough for some people, it's their problem, because you know your limits. You need to know your limits, and you need to respect your limits in order to stay functional and healthy, and ideally more than that as well. Because you are more important than your profession. You are worthy of looking after yourself and staying healthy. And if you are in an environment that doesn't recognize these things, then maybe you're not in the right place. So I'd like to leave you with the notion that you are definitely enough. And this will never go away. It won't go away when you don't manage to take off the things on your ugly frog list today or tomorrow. It won't go away if you get a bit impatient with someone or yourself. You are good enough because you are a good person with good intentions. You wouldn't be in this profession if you weren't. You got into it because you wanted to make sure to make a positive difference for someone on some level. So don't let these dark clouds hover over your head and tell you anything else than that you are good enough. You've already come so far. To get to where you are today has taken a lot of effort and energy and work, and sometimes you just need to look back on these things that you've already done. Maybe you skim through some university work of yours that you've forgotten about entirely, and you realize that you've done a lot and you've put a lot of work into this, into your career, into your personality, into yourself. You're ambitious. And it's okay to sometimes just slow down for a little while and be a bit more relaxed about things. Not everything needs to always be perfect. What is perfect anyway? You know, perfect might just be to spend an afternoon drinking tea with a friend, having a slice of cake, rewarding yourself for your hard work that you do every day. Being good enough might just mean leaving work slightly earlier than usual and doing what you have to do another day because it's not that urgent. Maybe you can mark this book another day and you'll make it a good experience by setting the scene with a scented candle or something that you like playing in the background, maybe relaxing piano music, and you will reward yourself for your hard work afterwards with maybe a nice bubble bath or listening to your favorite album or singing a song or calling a friend or snuggling with your pet. Anything that makes you happy. Just feel content in yourself. Don't beat yourself up if you haven't managed to finish something, because all of us at some point are in the same situation. We're only human after all, and you're doing really well. So take a deep breath in, hold it, and now breathe out. And repeat a few times, and then be ready to be enough and restart your day recharged. Enjoy. Bye bye.